I take no credit for what you're about to listen to. This was 3 years ago by someone named MYGALITO. Um, he made this, and it was cited by a guy named Stick 187. By the way, check out his channel. Um, he does some pretty good videos. Do it every now and then, like me. But I just want you to hear this right quick, and then I'm just going to talk about it for a little bit. It's, uh, it's pretty good stuff.
I was born out of poverty, addiction, and miseducation, a product of good folk making the best of a bad situation. So I must bust for everything they held sacred. The blood, sweat, and tears spilled, paving the way for this nation. For the love of the face is lost, never to be seen again. Something ain't right and it's pissing me off. I ain't believing it. They sending a clear message, but the sheeple ain't receiving it. Can see the future, but can't explain how sad the scene of it is. Because of our love of money. You didn't see the ambush. Making the stand is out of my hands. Just take the damn look. You're already locked up. Use a control movement. Since you stay too young, you think they control you there. Most of y'all too sleepy to see the slavery they sold you in. I'm praying that Jesus comes along and holds you in. Keep dreaming, keep sleeping, don't even hit the snooze button. Because the best path to damnation is to do nothing. I'm not struggling for nothing, hustling just to make ends meet. Surviving instead of living, killing the real heart that sent me. Through being sick and tired, admiring those who's got plenty. Through letting BET and MTV bitch lap me mentally. To put it to you simply, I'm here to lead the masses. Away from the camps, nerve gas, and plastic caskets. Away from the upper class, rich bastards and their taxes. Away from Homeland's big brother and his Patriot Act shit. September 11th, because I still can't get past it. I still want justice, not bullshit answers. When I start asking, what really happened? Who's going to swing for him? That's where I'm headed. To see, murder ain't a thing for him. If I'll be damned if I let him make another crime scene of him. Blame it on terrorism. I'ma change the theme on it. See, I woke up like Neo and jumped straight into action. The streets made me tough. Call of Duty's been good practice. But this game is all fucked up. The connection keeps lagging. Crime never paid to criminals became rappers. Then these whack-ass, half-ass MCs replaced the masters. Now it's back to looking for work and listening to the pastor. All I'm saying is, man, we need to come together more than ever, hold each other down. Whenever we face stormy weather, to pick each other up till we standing together. Face whatever comes, because together we can take whoever. I don't care if you black or white, real talk, that's some lame shit. If Pac and Big was still here, they'd probably say the same shit. Instead of being divided, quietly living in pain and anguish. Damn, spitting real talk is like speaking a secret language. Firing blindly, because my third eye is what I aim with. So I don't care who it is. Because hatred's what they made this. Forget about it, it's in game. So I don't need to explain shit. You can fight for your life, live forever, or you can die nameless. It ain't all good to live. What the hell is niggas thinking? Y'all confused like Northerners, Mexican, and Puerto Rican. America's a prison there. Ain't nobody leaving there. Everybody's subject to a good ass beating. How the hell you free when you pay for the air you breathe? Police can shoot you in your back for no goddamn reason. Oh, hey man, come on man, calm down. Nah, I ain't gonna calm down. It's about to get aired out. It's time for real change. MYGALITO taking the rare route. Before they lock it down, give them a reason to fear us now. Give them a chance to reconsider with considerable doubt. We'll go quietly, rioting in the streets as a thing in the past. So quietly we extending our reach. Each and every last one who can hear me speak. We ain't asking no more. We demanding freedom and peace. Political prisoners demanding to be released. Making so much noise we can Here it's overseas. I promise I will stand with you to the very end of me. But please believe me when I say Muslims is not the enemy. They just the newly hardy Oswalds, and we the Kennedys, riding in the drop top, taking everybody's until they blow your top off in the middle of the street. You choose. This is poetry, the prophecy on the beat. Choose wisely. Time is not a luxury, like a jigsaw trap. Bloodshed will set you free. That's why nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to go there. A true warrior is so rare. Mostly I just don't care. There's no need to fear. MYGALITO's the chosen one here. But before you rewind this back, ask, where in hell do we go from here?
You know, I'm a type of person that if I see something, you know, I see something on the news, whatever, rioting going on and there's violence and stuff like that. You know, like for instance in Buffalo, where there's a bunch of killing that been happening to little kids and things like that. The first thing, people want to blame basically kids for not having no guidance and things like that. But I don't do that, man. See, ignorance is all around. It's all around, including with the law enforcement, whatever. We can't go and blaming the kids for not having guidance. You know what I'm saying? It starts at home, man. Everything starts at home. If you're not learning in school, guess what? It starts at home. It's not the teacher's fault. Teachers ain't bringing the kids into the world. You know, I'm sitting up here and I see so much about these cops that are just they're abusing their power. A black woman got punched in the face while I seen the video too. You know, she kicked the cop, or it seemed like she kicked the cop in the leg or whatever. And this guy just punches her right in the face. And I'm sitting up here like, the woman, you handcuffed the woman, you put her in the back of the car, and even if she was doing a little kicking, whatever, you still had the upper hand. Why would you punch her in the face? It wasn't like you couldn't control the situation. The situation was already controlled. She just kicked you a little bit and you said, okay, well, I'm going to knock her out. And that's what you did. You just basically, you punched her in the face and gave her all this marks all around her face, whatever. And I'm sitting up here like, man, you know, that reminds me of how, like, when a person surrenders, when they're on the ground and they give up and things like that, whatever. If they have nothing going on, why go on and tase them and stuff like that? If they're surrendering, why shoot at them? If they're down on the ground. There's a lot of crooked cops. I believe there's a lot of crooked cops in Buffalo too. Oh yes. But it's getting to a point where this thing that's been happening for years is getting more rampant than ever. It's happening more and more often than ever. I see it all the time now. You know what I'm saying? Man, but we all start to just start blaming all the cops, man. It's all the cops' fault, whatever. It ain't all the cops for cop fault, man. You know. But I'm looking at our race today. I'm looking at the black people race today, and let me just clarify this right here. This is not a racial thing. This is an American thing. This is the people. You know, we have rights too. You know what I'm saying? We have our rights. I mean, it's not if a cop does something to a person, you know, and they have video footage, the grand jury. Okay, you got, there's a story about a tasing that was going on, stuff like that, that cops was doing, whatever. And you have the video footage. The grand jury see the video footage. You know, it should be irrefutable evidence that this cop he cannot get off. You know what I'm saying? The man that was getting tased, he was already surrendering, and the cop tased him anyway. So you got the grand jury. They see the evidence. They see everything, piled up. In this case, they see all this evidence against the cop, and yet they favor the cop. The grand jury, you got to examine, when you put a grand jury together, you really got to thoroughly examine how they feel about a different race or something. You know what I'm saying? Are they angry? I mean, what kind of emotions are they going through? What kind of problems? What's mentally happening with them? You got to really thoroughly, excuse me, examine these people before you put them on a jury. Because you just don't know what they're really going through on the inside. Now, why did I put that message on there about where do we go from here? If you see the video says a lot about rioting, cops beating on black people, and how basically rappers are controlling people's minds nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And how they're so influenced with the rap game that they want to be these rappers, and they want to have the cars like them. They want to have the jewelry like them. You know what I'm saying? And all that's well and good, but when it comes to a point where you want it so bad that you're going to kill somebody to get it, instead of trying to go out there and grind and get it yourself, you got to kill somebody to get it. It just makes us look bad. It really does. Because it's like, if let's say if a black person was going into a suburban area or whatever, he's already profiled as being a thug. He's already profiled as someone who's going to rob somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're portrayed at. You can't go in a suburban area as a black man having a hoodie, and then I know everybody's gonna be talking about Trayvon Martin, but I'm using this as an example. Okay, we have to not be profiled where that everywhere we go, I'm talking about black people now, where everywhere we go, we're always looked as a troublemaker. No matter where you go, you are looked now as a troublemaker, and the cops is always going to pull you over and ask a whole bunch of stupid questions just because you look like a troublemaker. That should not be about us. There are good and there are bad in every single race. But it seems like more often now that we are troublemakers. I was looking on this one website how P Diddy is afraid of police now, and I'm thinking there's a lot of people that black people that's they're kind of they kind of feel the same way as P Diddy does, you know. But there are good cops. Yeah, there's always good cops. Always has been. But there are ones that's prejudiced, and they may not like black people. You know, and there's just some that you know that may not like anybody, but they're a cop, and they will abuse their power sometimes just because they have the power to do it. But I'm seeing more of these situations about how cops are punching black women and black men in the face and beating them and shooting them and things like that. I'm not saying this is a racial thing. Let me say this again because I've said that on my other videos. I'm not saying this is a racial thing. But what I am saying is that cops are now, law enforcement in general, are now targeting more towards black people. You know, this is 2014. We have open relationships and things like that. There's people now more open-minded than ever, and that's the way we should think in general. Every person should have an open mind, but it's like, even though, there are more people with an open mind, this is still a prejudiced country. It's still a prejudiced country. I very much dislike how a black person, it's harder for a black person to get a job. It's harder. There was a study. I was in the college. I went to Bryan and Stratton, and we was watching this video of how they were showing the statistics on how a white person who had a criminal history would have a better chance of getting a job than a black person that has no criminal history. It also said about there are more atheists in this country than there are Christians. We was watching this video and it was saying a lot about a lot of this and a lot of that, and I was very, very shocked. But it was on video. It was on the whole class watching, and they felt the same way I felt. So the question is, where do we go from here? We've seen how the grand jury verdicts are not in favor of the people, but it's now favor of police. And it's been back to back to back now. It's happening more often. So what do we do? Where do we go from what do we do? I'll tell you what you can do. This is just one of the options. Go to change.org, okay, and have a petition made. Have a petition made for whatever the case may be. If you don't like how the jury is, how they're favoring more of, people than law enforcement, even though if a law enforcement, hits a guy with a stick or anything like that, or shoots him, whatever, and the jury still favors the law enforcement and all, the cops and whatever, make a petition up, send it up to Obama, have some changes done. We vote for these people. You know, we vote for, well, I ain't gonna say the jury, but we vote for the judges who make these decisions. You know what I'm saying? The jury, you know, jury duty, I never really was into jury duty. I don't really know anything about jury duty, whatever. But I think the people that are picked for jury duty need to be more examined. Seriously. Seriously. Because I don't see how back to back to back to back to back the jury favors law enforcement no matter what they do. Even if they got video against them, it's like they're always going to favor for the jury. I don't understand that. I mean, I'm favor for the law enforcement, for the cops, whatever. I don't understand it. So I know I rant, and I know I just be talking a lot. I have a lot of things on my mind. I'm watching a lot of news and all, and I'm just so disgusted on how people can just be. I don't know if you're intimidated by the police. Do you think that if you indict a police officer, you know, he might come after? I don't know if you're afraid of what, but for you people that are picked for jury duty and you don't do the right thing, you don't do the justice for the people, even though you are the people, but you are against the people when it comes to the cops, when it comes to law enforcement. You let these people do what they want to do to us. You're no better than they are. Even though you have all the evidence is stacked against the cop and everything and the law enforcement, you still favor the cop. You don't indict him. I've been saying this for the longest. The judicial system is broke and it needs some fixing. Even pedophiles, you know what I'm saying? Pedophiles are getting off. You know? Wow, man, seriously. I mean, a black person can go to jail for 10, 20 years for simple possession of some weed, but a cop can get off on murder. So where do we go from here? What do we do to make ourselves better? I'm not going to tell you something corny like, well, praying and going to church and getting yourself better. No. I'm going to tell you, I mean, even the protest is fine and dandy, but we need more than that. We need something big. We need something huge. The people have to speak out now. The president's doing nothing about this situation. We need more people to speak out. Somehow, some way, reach these people who are making these decisions, these crazy decisions of letting these cops, these police getting away with what they get away with. It's going to happen more and more often. We should not be afraid of the police. The police should be afraid of our voice. Because when we stand together, when we fight against corruption, we can change a lot of things. But it takes a majority of the country, black folks and white folks and Puerto Rican, we all have to get together. This is an American thing. This isn't a black thing. This isn't an Asian thing. This isn't a white thing. This is an American thing. And we all have to get together and stand up for one another as a group and make changes happen. Change.org is your first step. You get a petition together. Get over 1 million signatures. If you have a petition for over 1 million signatures, somebody got to look at that and say, hey, we got to make some changes. The people are speaking out. We need to do something because people are getting upset. That's one thing we can do. You can make a bunch of calls. If you got to, whatever way possible, call President Obama and get him to change some things. He needs to anyway. you know. But the grand jury, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I think they're intimidated. I think they're very much intimidated, and they don't want to indict no law enforcement. They don't want to indict no police officers and things like that because people are going to come after them. You know what I'm saying? So there's more people that's going to get off because these grand juries are so intimidated. I mean, that's just how I see it because more and more this is happening. You know, so man, look at down in the link below, down in the description. Look at the video. Where do we go from here? I was watching that. I watched it 3 years ago, and I watched it again, and I'm like, wow, you know, I see this here, and this going on today. It's going on in 2014, even though that video was made in 2011. It wasn't as bad as it was now. It wasn't as bad back then. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of these law enforcement that's really getting away with things, and somebody got to change this stuff because it's just going to keep getting worse because nobody's going to do anything about it. So this is my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Comment, rate, subscribe, and you know, I'm going to be making some more videos in the future. I don't make as many videos now, but this is something that was just a serious thing I want to talk to y'all about because I think there's something going on with the grand jury. They're getting intimidated. Something is being forced on them, and they're not making the right decisions nowadays. They really ain't. So somebody needs to talk to them. Somebody needs to get to them, and you know, these people that's being picked out. Anyway, I'm rambling on. All right, Sister Bear, I'm out. Peace.